Welcome back. I'm Tim Bischoff. I'm from Kentucky Educational Television. I'm the CTO there, and I was on the planning committee for this great conference. So our next breakout session, we'll get right to it. It's an update on ATSC 3.0 that's growing significantly. As we heard this morning, we're about to reach 70% of audiences across the country, including the top DMAs, New York, coming soon. So we're pleased to have Jing from Harmonic is with us this morning. KET's actually worked with Harmonic on our two 3.0 station launches, which has been exciting. And Jing is the Director of Broadcast Operations at Harmonic. He leads the company's go-to-market strategy for playout and encoding solutions. He is an expert, I can attest to this, in broadcast technology, and he drives Harmonic's definition of key product-related requirements, positioning, competitive analysis, has a great sense of the roadmap and what's coming from Harmonic, which we always value to really understand what's coming and how we can use it. Jing has 20 years of experience in broadcast engineering, 11 years at Discovery, 5 years with encoder manufacturers. So Jing, we appreciate you being here today, and we'll let you get right to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. So really excited to be here. Since I couldn't really get the remote working, I'm gonna have to stand in front of this podium as much as possible. What we want to go over today is just what's up with ATSC1 and ATSC3 nowadays, and of course we want to make it as interactive as possible. So please feel free to raise your questions. More than happy to engage in some interactive conversations. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the agenda for today. We got, the current ATSC 3.0 progress, which I think many of you already know this by heart, so don't need to spend too much time on that. We're going to go over the latest trends from my ATSC1 customers, the latest trends from the ATSC3 customers as well, and then what Harmonic sees as a unique vision for this ATSC market and how we strategize our priorities and product and offerings around that, and of course leave an ample amount of time for Q&A and so on and so forth. First off, ATSC 3.0 progress, and as we know at the beginning of the year, NAB reached out to FCC saying that if you don't do anything, basically everything's going to grind to a halt, going to be viewed as dinosaurs. So what FCC responded is a dedicated a task force called the Future of Television, and Harmonic is very honored to be on that working group number 2, discussing various ways how we can push forward this technology. So any questions around that? Okay, cool. And here's the latest progress. We got 26 new deployment in 2023 so far. That's almost 70 new markets in total, and very honored to let you know Harmonic's the backbone engine for vast majority of them, and in all the major city launches, including Miami, Boston, Philly, San Francisco, and the upcoming New York City, the largest ATSC market. So here are the latest ATSC 3.0 trends. First off, ATSC3 virtual channel. So what is a virtual channel? It's actually not the same thing as the virtual channel we're familiar with in ATSC1 world. ATSC 3.0 virtual channel, that means the entire package that includes the dash video segment, the audio, the MPD file are sent to over-the-air path and over-the-top path. And why do we need to do that? Because bandwidth limitation is the largest roadblock for ATSC3 right now. And if we happen to have 6 stations in the market and 5 of them already made a commercial arrangement for channel sharing, what's the 6th station going to do? And if he wants to get into ATSC 3.0 space, what he can do is to send the whole package to over-the-air path, and due to the bandwidth limitation, we unfortunately have to put a filter there, filter out the large size video, audio, captioning, only keep the MPD, which is the table of contents, and the file that ensures time synchronizations, and then the entire package is sent over the top on the internet. At that path, you have no bandwidth limitation. You can do whatever you want. You can even go crazy. 4K HDR for your special events, channel variation, targeted advertising, however you like. And then down at the receiver's end, because of the unique structure of dash, MPD, everything will piece together nicely, time synchronized, everything. So in order to fulfill the basic ATSC broadcast responsibilities, if your TV or your receiver is somehow disconnected from the internet, you will still have your channel name, your major and minor channel number showing up the top right corner, even though you lose your video and audio. It's not ideal, but it's better than something, right? And this is not just for that 6 station I was talking about. Today, when you talk about those 70 markets, they claim they're ATSC3 ready. But if you are seeing 5 channels from Tegna and 6 channels from Nexstar in that market, in ATSC1, what are you actually seeing in ATSC3? You're only seeing 1 channel from Tegna, 1 channel from NBC. All these diginets, sub-channels that came up during the pandemic, it's a huge revenue generator, are not on ATSC 3.0. What do I see as a viable path for that? Virtual channel. There's no way around that. So essentially, this is what I was talking about with virtual channel. You can fulfill your over-the-air responsibilities, but also get creative over the top and essentially fully taking advantage of what ATSC3 was originally promising for. It's when OTA meets OTT. Okay, of course, I can't just keep selling it on this idea. I also have to be transparent about the restrictions, but I think you already know, first of all, from a technology point of view, because of the time synchronization requirement, so far this technology only supports time-based segmentations, but Harmonic is the only one that actually launched this commercially for Miami PBS, and you can rest assured that everything is time-based and fulfilled all the requirements. And of course, the second caveat is it requires broadband, otherwise you can use video and audio, but you still won't receive FCC violations because you will have your channel number and channel names on the top right corner. And after the analysis was ATSC 3.0 for everyone with that improved experience and an extra stream of revenue generator, the pros obviously significantly outweighs the cons. The next trend is 1080p SDR to HDR upconversion. I know some of you probably heard of SLHDR1, but unfortunately that's not widely rolled out. So what the big networks are more enthusiastic about is just simply SDR to HDR conversion. So far, because we actually own a majority of the ONO, actually all of the ONO stations, we actually rolled out this across the board. As you can see, if you give me an SDR source, when I upconvert to HDR, you're gonna, of course, instantly gain much wider color gamut, comparing the right image to the left image, and a much obvious dark-light balance, and enhanced depth of field. Everything looks more 3D-ish. Upcoming is a more controversial topic. I know there are a lot of angry viewers out there and even ecosystem partners out there, but unfortunately, just from a business perspective, we are required to turn on this, not just for O&O stations, but also the station groups that owns those big networks that have the obligation to turn this on. So we're fully compliant with all these anti-piracy methods. The official, justification is just to, making sure there's no illegal retransmission going on. All right. While everybody is busy launching ATSC 3.0, that is also the perfect opportunity for you to level up your ATSC 1.0 games, because after all, that's still your main revenue generators. So here's what's going on. What we have received most feedback from the customer is they want to, keep consolidating their workflows, keep saving costs there. So as a result, we have to, directly fetch the Titan TV Grace Note piece of data for the commercial stations, the Myers ProTrack piece of data for the PBS stations, and helping customers saving on that PCF generator cost. Of course, our ecosystem partner, they're in both ATSC1 and ATSC3 space at the beginning. They were not very happy with our approach, but unfortunately, after they learned the landscape, that's ultimately what the customer is requiring, and then they were just playing around with it. So we're able to pass along this cost saving to our customers. And along with that, there are some very nice equipment that's being end of support due to merge and acquisitions, and then one of them is the Nevian CP505 that not only works as a ASI protection switch, but also has very nice PCF editing and rebranding features. And as that product is being fading away, they're not coming up with a replacement, so we gladly pick up that gap. So right now in the Harmonic solutions, you hand me some stream with PCF data, you can further editing that and provide static PCF, and then you can rebrand it like for a different market. So that's very useful for a statewide or nearby state redistribution project. This is big. This is something that I every week ensure our product management is taking as highest priority and then deliver in time. This is the true audio upmix from stereo to 5.1. Now, nowadays, I can assure you that everything you hear from the encoder manufacturers, what they do is simply, if they want to simulate a 5.1 out of a stereo source, they will just fill up the blank channel. That's not the scientific way. That's not the Dolby SDK blast way. So we actually went through a very lengthy certification process with Dolby and get their full blasting, integrate their SDK. We'll be able to deliver the true stereo to 5.1 op mix by the end of this year. That's instant $8,000 saving for you on the linear acoustic box. Of course, the linear acoustic box performs a lot other tasks. Well, it's not just the linear acoustic. You also got the Grass Valley part, the Ross part, Evert's part that does similar jobs. There's another important component is that if you are a Spanish viewer, you typically will leave your channel tuned to the Spanish channel. But majority of the commercials are English only. So what happens is if you don't do anything, you're going to be greeted with absolute silence during the commercial break. And from a legal level, that is an FCC violation. So along with the upmix, we are also delivering the algorithm to, like if you run into that situation, simply duplicate your English audio track to the Spanish audio track. So even though the Spanish viewer is greeted with English audio, but it fulfills the FCC requirement. So that's actually another important piece. And with our unique approach on EASnet with DASDAC, we are able to send out the DASDAC audio using a specified MP3 format. So you don't need to worry about stereo 5.1 per DAC situation. Of course, that's also guaranteed when you have national alerts and regional alerts and local alerts, you can also ensure that your audio always come out consistent. So that's actually the next big thing that I'm looking forward to. Last but not the least, while all the customers are purchasing new encoder for ATSC3 workflows, they also want a powerful piece of box that can handle both workflows simultaneously. So this actually calls for the need for a much more efficient encoding algorithm and much more advanced forward-looking architecture. Our software is all cloud native, which I can elaborate later. So that's able to perform this task, everything just in one commercial off-the-shelf chassis. And on the ATSC1 front, I've highlighted our unique advantages compared to the competitors because it's derived from the same code base as our end-to-end cloud SaaS delivery workflows. We can send out SRT encrypted StemX outputs directly out of this one box without any third-party devices. We also have that PCIP carousel function with the PCIP generator manufacturers. But if you want to save that extra cost, we can directly inject the PCIP from Titan TP side, from the Myers site, and we can do the further rebranding that all in this box. EASnet, that ensures a future-proof EAS protocol for both ATSC1 and ATSC3. And we also have a built-in logo legal ID insertion scheduler. You can use that to fulfill your legal ID requirement, but you can also use that to insert some RSS feed graphics, and everything will be available as a scheduler in the GUI, so you don't need to write a Python script running on third-party machines and worry about time zone changes, daylight savings time, and some PC clock just go off the sync. On the ATSC3 front, in addition to all these amazing new technology we're able to back, we've also invested heavily into the interactive high-efficiency StatMux with multiple ecosystem partners. So the bulk of it is like in ATSC1 world, encoder pretty much owns the entire workflow, right? So we can control what the output StatMux pool size is to ensure that we are well under the 1939. But in the ATSC3 world, unfortunately, the ecosystem is split in half. Encoder only has part of the workflow. It's the scheduling system that has the other part that has exposure to the NRT, to the other data. So utilizing our powerful API libraries, the ecosystem partners, once they got alerted, hey, I got this opportunity to insert some NRT data for my data casting services or extra data storm that's coming in. Then they will just send the API alert to our system. We'll adjust down our StatMux to ensure everything's still well contained in that PLP pipe. And once that event is finished, they'll send us the finished API alert, and then we'll just bring everything back up seamlessly, no glitch, no hiccup. Otherwise, that defeats the purpose for StatMux, right? So that's what interactive high-efficient StatMux is about. Virtual channel implementation, that's the other thing that I've mentioned. And again, so far, we are the only one who are able to commercially deploy it in a production environment. Okay, here's the Harmonic strategy for ATSC. First off, just an overview of Harmonic. Video is a big component of Harmonic, coming from back in the Divicom days, but also Harmonic is heavily invested into playout. So in 2010, acquired Omnium, that many of you probably still have some servers running in your facility, has a legacy, decades of well-earned reputations. And of course, in 2015, Harmonic again consolidated a competitor, Thomson Video System. So a lot of the same core CMA 1820 analyzers that you use are actually just rebranded products from Thomson Video. That was actually still Harmonic, but it was like a previous arrangement between Thomson Video in France. They granted Sencor the right to sell that tool, but ultimately still Harmonic tool. So if you guys are interested in that, we can still resell it to you as well. Revenue last year, $625 million, 23% year-over-year growth. Market cap up to $1.7 billion. Headquarters still in Silicon Valley, so we get the latest to interface with all the latest trends in both the cloud technologies, IT world, along with encoding. We're absolute cloud native innovation leader. About a couple years ago, Harmonic went all in on rebuilding the software architecture to be cloud native, microservices, Kubernetes orchestration, completely decoupled from any cloud providers, and more than 5,000 media customers worldwide. And this is our main business sector for videos. We're absolute leader in cloud streaming. That includes both sports and in any other VOD services, fast channels, and so on and so forth. Along with that, we also serve diligently our video broadcast customers, and broadband is the other area that I don't really interface much, but they bring in a significant amount of revenue as well. And here are the logos that of the customer that we serve. Along them, the NBC Peacock is actually one of the large-scale streaming providers that we are serving. So last year during the Olympics game, along with the Super Bowl night, those pristine video quality, uninterrupted services that you experience is actually indeed coming from the Harmonic VOS 360. They're actually a much more powerful and convincing logo that we haven't really got authorization put on here. But during private conversation, I can tell you what it is. I think all I need to just mention the name, and then they would just, you don't even need to ask about anybody else. This is what I was talking about. Exact same microservice Kubernetes orchestrated strategy across the board. VOS is a cloud SaaS services, but we also take the exact same code onto XOS, running on commercial off-the-shelf servers. This is our ATSC1, ATSC3 encode. And then along with the appliances, XOS, the cloud SaaS, there is also something in the middle. We have customers who prefer to run everything in their own managed network environment, the private cloud. They have dedicated DevOps teams. So we just install that same software into their own private data center, essentially serving different business use cases. And of course, the Spectrum X here, what you see is your legacy Omnium servers that you've been running reliably for the past decades or two. And this is a high-level introduction of all the components on XOS, which is present, also available on VOS 360, all the way from graphics, transcode, StatMux, multiplex encryption, packaging, serving both broadcast and streaming customers. But that's just what XOS is officially released today. Well, I'm about to show you something even more. This is just a slide to highlight why we're able to pack in much higher density, much more efficient workflows in XOS compared to the competitors. Because, as you can see, with the new forward-looking microservice approach, much lower memory usage, much lower CPU utilization, and much faster boot up time. There are products out there in the market that claim similar strategy, but if you actually look into rear-end engines, you were surprised to find the density isn't as impressive as Harmonic product. Why? Because essentially they were doing the lift and shift, basically squeezing the monolithic application into a VM, into a Docker. That's not the same thing. And then once you get to more dense project, you will realize the difference it brings in. Also, microservices approach ensures that if you want some feature, you can get that delivered much quicker, because all the developer needs to worry about is their own small containers. They don't need to worry about the whole interoperability and compatibility issues. And again, it's not like the competitors are not aware of the advantage of the microservice, but that takes a significant amount of investment, a commitment, and even the willingness to lose some market share during that growing pain process. So, but we've noticed that a lot of vendors are going through that path. So what does that mean to customers like you? If you happen to purchase one of their hot cake today, that might not be the hot cake in a year or two. And then they will start to have to sell you a new product, claim it's better. But with Harmonic, we basically went through that growing pain process ourselves. If you purchase XOS, that's the most forward-looking architecture. I'm not aware of any other more advanced architecture out there. So you actually get a product that has I would say, much longer life expectancy. And this is just a very high-level demonstration of the density it can pack into. Of course, these are basic benchmarking we perform for your unique use cases. It's always strongly recommended that we went through a detailed validation. But just from high level, typical ATSC customers, they will choose the XOS large. That's still Intel CPU based. That has a nice balance between CPUs and in the expenditures. And then just on the ATSC3 front, HEVC, HDR, 10-bit 422 services, you can pack 10 of them onto that. And if you want to talk of MPEG-4 and MPEG-2, then this number is just, much larger. But if you want to go crazy, you want to go to a dense UHD project just for a couple thousand more, I would recommend you go to the latest AMD chipset, and then we'll provide you twice the density. So with that density, these are the typical use cases you can perform. If you just want to use the XOS for a small retranscode project, decoder, or receiving some satellite feed or ATSC feed, while you were looking for cost savings, we can see XOS small will work for you. But if you require something that's slightly more powerful, we'll see if XOS medium will work with you. But for ATSC encoding project, broadcasters are typically viewed as, someone who probably don't dump as much money as the streamers. But if you look at the video quality, broadcast actually has the highest video standard, compared to the streaming services. So the nature of ATSC is the more CPU resources you leave to the system, the better your picture quality will look like. So that's why, by default, I will always recommend you to go to the XOS Large for your ATSC project. And then again, for much powerful dense UHD project, you can opt for the AMD CPUs. And this is, with our, dozens of reputations in the transcoding algorithm and in our great interoperability with ecosystem partners, we're able to perform all these different up-conversion, cross-conversion, resampling between different formats, SDR, HLG, HDR10, 8.1, 8.4, Dolby Vision, and HDR10+. Again, this is kind of slightly repetitive. What I want to highlight is just with the variety of the input and the output that you can squeeze in XOS, you can just basically get very creative and customize your workflow to be distribution, to be encoding, retransmission, however you like. So, this is what I've been working on for the past year when I joined Harmonic. When I first joined the XOS product, it was just the same code base as VOS 360 as a cloud SaaS, so it's really Harmonic DevOps running in the background 24/7, maintaining uptime guarantee. Customer rarely need to touch it. So it was heavily emphasized on APIs, but once we introduced the broadcaster to the ATSC customers, we need to give you the power to customize your parameters and such, and then everything needs to be graphical. So basically, we just translated that powerful API mechanism into a very user-friendly GUI interface, and you can configure, monitor with or without external management system. Again, once those are nicely developed, they were made instantly available onto our VOS 360 cloud SaaS services as well. So that's, again, the nice benefit of common software foundation. And of course, like I mentioned, if you still want to manage your system under a central management system, we can still subscribe these XOS encoders into the NMX that some of you guys are still using. Another benefit utilizing the latest cloud technology is that we don't need to invest into an accurate performance management system. We have the whole CI/CD community supporting it. This matrix is the industrial standard Cabana that will measure the exact usage of the CPU, give you an assurance that you're definitely not overloading your systems. So assess real conditions, insightful capacity extension, and check stress evolution in time. Then, with the whole CI/CD community supporting us, we can actually go back in and focus on what we do the best, encoding and distribution. So, if you're still a heavy API user, you said, I'm fine with GUI, but I prefer API as well. We don't just hand you a 500-page PDF file, expect you to write a Python script running out from an external source, hope for it works or not. We have the whole graphic interface with the test interface that will identify whether there's any bugs that you need to address before taking it to a live system. This is actually extremely useful for both our DevOps, also for customers. That's where we're also very proud of. RESTful API, easy to test, and then you just develop once again. Everything available on VOS is instantly available on XOS, and it's the same vice versa. This is that graphics engine I was talking about with our learned experiences from the Omnion Spectrum series. We're able to catering all these very versatile suite of graphics management. If you want to just insert some graphics, you load up the image, placement, and offset. Of course, I see a lot of competitor products offering the exact same suite of products, but they don't have this capability. It's directly schedule your logo fading and fade out on the GUI without relying on third-party services. EASnet, we took the unique approach, ditching the SCSI 18 standard because for these lists of benefits, flexible EAS event scheduling, simultaneous multi-station support, direct EAS crawl, pre-processed MP3 audio, which I've already went into the detail earlier, and then also if you actually go with the other, I would say, non-ideal approach, you actually have to add some extra module onto your DASTAC devices. But if you happen to be using a non-DASTAC device, we're also in the works with the other manufacturers on the open AI approach. I'm sorry, not the open AI. I forgot the exact term, but it was the other standard. But I believe DASTAC owns the majority of the market. And then if you want your station to be ATSC3 ready, multilingual support is only available in EASnet. And that's another big justification why we went with this protocol. DPI tier filtering. If you hand me a source with different DPI filters, then we can just, we'll definitely honor with all these duration and insertion requirements, and then give you customized feeds for different demographics, for different markets, for both targeted advertising purposes and also, content protection purposes. And if we ever go off the board, you can pull out the exact same Harmonic AV encoder, which is the Sencore CMA 1820, to tell us this is where we went wrong. And we have to support it because both are our products. All right, there's one more thing I want to share with you, is that, like I said, the VOS 360 Cloud SaaS is an end-to-end workflow all the way from playout into delivery, and then XOS, as of earlier this week, earlier this month, only has these components available. But from a technical perspective, there's really nothing stopping us enabling playout feature onto it. And we've heard enough feedbacks from the field that we need to enable that, because the customer, once they launch XOS, they saw those buttons, but unfortunately they're purposely grayed out. And then, so as a result, we have plenty of capacity left thanks to the cloud-native architecture. So we are officially enabling the playout capability on the XOS. Then with that, what coming out of the XOS is not only pristine video quality, but with all these versatile graphics management, all these variety of live data feeds, just as what you would expect from a playout system. Exact same powerful playout engine running on VOS 360 Cloud SaaS is instantly available on XOS. So this is our high-level summary for today. ATSC3 definitely moving forward, but more support is indeed needed. I think many of you probably heard the LG news earlier this week. And virtual channel, HDR, DRM, they all provide tremendous ATSC3 motivations. But on the ATSC1 world, we constantly invest into how we can further streamline the workflow, and our latest venture into that is PSIP consolidation and audio workflow consolidations. Cloud-native architecture. People, when you talk about cloud, they think of SaaS, public cloud, they think broadcast will probably never utilize that. But no, that's not true. Once you put that same piece of software under commercial off-the-shelf software, it will also save you resources, provide unlimited potential for it. So a cloud-native architecture is even critical for on-prem solutions. And Playout is coming to XOS. We're very excited about that. Feel free to come by our booth. We have a full suite of nice, you know what, I can even show you on my laptop. And Harmonic is committed to provide you with future-proof solutions. So what I want to show you on my laptop is what we demoed at IBC. First, we have a large screen with mosaics highlighting different use cases. And then if I'm unsure about the network bandwidth, I will just show you the recorded one. But for some of the services, I have to do the live. There are actually live services, either coming from an XOS running our facilities, or coming from AWS and Microsoft Azure 24/7. And if, say, you're interested in XOS for Playout, this is what's doing. On the top of the screen, you got the UHD Playout, and the bottom screen, that's the same feed with their unique. Oh. Let me drag and drop, and yeah. But then I have no control of them. Yes. And then as you can see, this is the other one with the playout capability. You're able to squeeze in advanced graphics. And then at one time they will break away due to targeted advertising features. And there are a lot other cool stuff in it with this. You know what? I can certainly change my display to be duplicating. Then I can see whatever's there. Duplicate. Keep changes. All right. And satellite distribution, region 1, region 2, with a nice workflow diagram to the left. So I don't need to toggle back and forth between my PDF files, PowerPoint, and then the video, and cloud-based distributions. And this thing, let's see if it works. That's our latest innovation with OpenAI. So on this demo, we are showing you a live soccer game. This can only be performed live. As you can see, I'm in the live tab. And it will, sitting in the background, analyze the timeline based on the narration, and then translate into closed caption and provide timelines. And once it provides some series of timelines, I click on it, it will show you a specific highlight of the moment. And if you want to get interactive, you can ask ChatGPT, what is this game about? So it tells you what it is. And how many goals were scored? At this point, it probably doesn't have that information because nothing was scored. And the, let's see, what's the score right now? Match between, no. Were there any disallowed goals? Probably nothing. Give me a summary. All right, here's all the timeline that it has generated so far. You click on one of them. There's the highlight that's being transcoded in the background, and then this diagram explains how, of course, due to the network conditions, you're gonna keep seeing it loading and stuff. It was just working in the big conference room there, so if you're interested, come over, and then we can probably provide you a much better experience on that. And of course, if you don't want to just get into, you know, nowadays, even for people like me who used to be a soccer maniac, I don't have the full time for an entire soccer game. I just want to watch the highlights, and this exactly got me interested. So, yeah, looking forward to talk to you more about this. So then let's see if we have some time for Q&A, or are we short on time?
We have time for one question. We're standing between all these fine people and lunch. So, any questions?
No? Okay.
All right. Well, thanks
All
for
right.
the next session.
If you have any questions, come by to our booth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the luncheon is sponsored by Nautel and the Exhibitor Showcase. Starting now in the North Shore Ballroom. There's plenty of food for everyone, so get on over there and enjoy lunch. Afternoon breakouts at 2:20. Come back and join us, and you can win a TV from LG. Enjoy lunch.
Is that without
Great job.
ATSC3 or without?
I think it's this year's version.